What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Cartoon Season. I'm Tyler, and this is where we talk about animation, whether it be cartoons or anime, movies, shows, all that good stuff. Today we're doing another movie. Today's actually a special episode. I don't know what, I haven't really, nailed down when these, quite what the schedule when these are coming out, but this is an episode, possibly the first, possibly the last, I don't know. I don't know what orders are coming out in, but this is one of the episodes as a part of my the special little Christmas week we're doing here on Cartoon Season, where we talk about a bunch of movies all week. It's a special thing. Usually episodes of this podcast come out every Monday. This week, you're getting one every day. You're getting 5, one every weekday. And this is one of them. Again, this may be the first one. Maybe the last one. Don't know what order I'm putting them out in, but we're talking about the Grinch, obviously the 2018 version. If you're on YouTube, you could have guessed that already, because you can see the image right here. But we're talking about this movie. This is one that I've seen once before, not too closely, but this time I, watched every frame, and this is the third, I think, movie adaptation of this. And I thought it was real good. I thought it was different. I thought it took some stuff from the Grinch that we know and love and had some new stuff. And, I thought it was nice. So today, I'm going to get into 3 different things. Going to get into Cindy Lou Who and what kind of character she is and how she's kind of different than what I feel she's been depicted in the past. I'm going to talk about the relationship between Grinch and Max, which I think is very nice. Again, slightly different than what I feel like we've seen in the past. And then we got Grinch being an orphan, which has been played around with, I know, in the live action movie, but I think they have a nice spin on it here that I want to get into a little bit. So before I get into that, make sure to go to YouTube, specifically the Tiger T YouTube channel. That's where you can get more episodes of this. Or if you're purely audio, you can go to any other podcast platform. Links for everything, the link for the YouTube channel, as well as the link to the nice little web page I have that lists every single podcast platform you can get. This will be in the description. So go on there, have a good time. So first up, like I said, this is in the wrong order. Very professional of me to put these in the wrong order. The wrong order. All right, that's fun. Here we go. First time that's ever happened. So maybe it's better to just go on the podcast. That way you can't see my mess ups. Anyway, so we're talking about Cindy Lou Who. I like her because I don't really think she was too much of a role in the first, the original movie. The live action one we play around with her more. But I think this one is really cool because first off, she's definitely more of a kid in this one. I feel like in the live action one, she was, I don't know. I just feel like she was older. In this one, I could totally believe she's 7. Whereas in the live action one, I felt like she was 12, which isn't much of a difference, but I feel like it's enough for there to be, for there definitely be a distinct line between how one version acts versus how the other one acts. And I really like this one because they all, another difference is that they definitely depict her as more proactive, and she's almost like a daredevil in a sense. And she's more like that rambunctious kid, whereas, and this isn't me, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm apparently going to compare everything to the live action Jim Carrey version. But in the Jim Carrey version, she was more shy and more just kind of a character, just kind of there, Anyway, but I do like that about her. She in the beginning she goes crazy on a sled to deliver a letter to Santa. She's going nuts. Not only going over crazy hills, but she bounces off rooftops and stuff like that. And I just really like that scene because it immediately tells us, okay, what kind of character that she is and what she could be, and also how serious she is. Along with every other Who in Whoville, who take Christmas very seriously. But then the other side to her character is how smart she is and how big of a heart she has, where she notices every day, she notices her mom working very hard to take care of herself and her 2 brothers all by herself. And again, I think that was something that was. I'm not even gonna do it. I gotta stop comparing this movie to the live action version. But yeah, I do really like that because she sees it and she's like, man, I want to help her. I want. She has a big heart and she wants to help other people. And she's like, hey, my mom deserves more. She deserves a break. She deserves some sort of reprieve from this. Which is why she does everything she can. Like even there's like a couple throwaway lines where she tells her mom that she like cleaned up all the toys in her brother's room, and the mom is like, oh, you didn't have to do that, and she's like, yeah, I know, and that's it, right? Where she's just like, yeah, but I wanted to, like, why wouldn't I? Just like little things here and there to give to give her mom less to do. And then we have another funny little thing here where later on she decides to put on 4 coats, as well as a bunch of other gear, but the 4 coats was a real sticking point. Because she's going to travel to the North Pole so she can see Santa in person. Very important, I got to talk to him. And I love the way the mom plays this, because the mom, not for a second, says, hey, you shouldn't do that, or hey, are you sure, or I don't know if it's a good idea. Like, she just goes along with it, and she's like, okay, cool, yeah, it must be important. Yeah, definitely go over there. Tell him I said hi, and yeah, we'll see you in about a month. And Cindy is just like, a month? What do you? No. It's like, it takes a month to get to the North Pole. She's like, yeah, just about a month. Yeah, it takes about that. And then like, you gotta come back. So, and then Cindy decides it's not a good idea. That should be something else. But I do like that moment of the mom not really freaking out, because she's like, she knows how to stop Cindy from doing something this reckless. She's like, oh yeah, it's gonna take about a month. and she knows that'll destroy Cindy, and that'll destroy all her plans going over there, because Cindy can't she doesn't have that long to wait, right? Because Christmas is only in like 5 days or something. So yeah, that was really nice. And then we have a nice I didn't write this down, but we have a nice thing that I just remembered where the mom is like, hey, why don't you help me put the star on the tree and everything, and then she says something about like, hey, do you want to take some of your coats off? And Cindy's like, yeah, I feel like I should take off at least 1 or 2. It's pretty hot in here. Like, damn, we got 4 coats on, so many. So her next thing is that she devises a plan to catch Santa. Right, well, if I can't go to the North Pole to see him in time, I'll just wait for him to come to me, catch him, and then I'll do whatever I gotta do. Which is again a very kid thing to be like, we're gonna catch him, we're gonna lay a trap, there's like a little homemade trap with like rope and cookies, and there's even when they're devising their plan and they're trying to like test it, there's even a fun thing where they literally just put like a rope around a cookie, and the kid is like, but I can see the rope, but I can see the string, like I can see that something is amiss. And a little later on, when she finally does catch Santa, who's really the Grinch, she lays out her idea, and she's the Grinch is like, just give you your gifts or whatever, and he's like, no, I don't want any gifts. She's like, what do you mean you don't want gifts? He's like, no, I don't want gifts. I just want my mom to be happy. She spends so much time working on me, working on my brothers. She works, all this stuff. She takes care of us 24/7. Like, I just want her to be happy. You're Santa. You can do stuff. That's all I want. And then later on we'll get into it. How that affects Grinch, but I just think that's very nice for like a kid. Like, it's not a stereotypical kid. We even have back at the scene where I think they're doing the tree. I think that's a big thing at the time. Cindy is talking to her friend, and she lays out her plan, like everything she wants and all that, and her friend is just like, wow, I asked him for a turtle. Because that's just a nice dichotomy between someone like her and then like an average kid who just wants a thing. And the kind of end cap to her character is she decides to invite Grinch to dinner. Everyone really wanted him there, but Cindy, Cindy Lou Who, she's the one who actually goes, and she goes, she's sent, she volunteer, whatever it may be. She's the one who actually goes and makes that final connection to the Who's and to Grinch. which again further displays her love for people and how much she wants people to be happy and together and smiling and all that stuff. So I think generally, I think that gives a good, all the stuff I mentioned, I feel like it gives a good picture of what kind of character she is and how she is a kid. She does have this weird, like, reckless things where she travels by sled and devises this weird, like, Home Alone type trap to ensnare Santa, but she always has a good intention. She has a good heart. Sometimes she's a little bit ignorant, but again, she's a child. And in the end, she just wants everyone to be happy. So, I think she was definitely a highlight in terms of this movie. I feel like she was not necessarily the backbone, but I think she added something to this movie that it definitely needed and would definitely be missing without something like this. Yeah. Then we can move on to the, out of order, we can move on to the Grinch and Max relationship. Just a few things here I want to touch on because, again, I'm not going to mention it again, but compared to the other two film adaptations of this story, I feel like this takes it in a slightly different direction. A lot of reminiscing, from earlier works, but it does take it in a slightly different way. So, just generally, we do have Max that, he does a lot of heavy lifting for Grinch's daily routine. A lot of gizmos, a lot of gadgets that Max is kind of a part of, quite literally and figuratively. That kind of gets Grinch up in the day and helps him with Max does a lot for this man, but he likes doing it. It seems like he likes being a part of Grinch's life and helping him out and doing whatever he can and all that. So, because I don't particularly believe that the Grinch dislikes Max. I feel like there have been other adaptations and other interpretations where the Grinch likes Max, but he uses him more like a servant. And there's less of the love, actually peeks through his character. But I think this one is more abundance in the clear love that Grinch has for Max. Even there are times where Max's general happy personality, irritates Grinch. We have the one moment, the moment that I'm thinking of when I wrote this was when Grinch is playing the piano and Max just wants to be a part of it. He's playing the drums, just hitting the cymbal with his tail, and Grinch gets irritated. Because that's ruining the flow of what he's doing. Where Max just wanted to play along. He just wanted to be a part of it. And immediately after, Grinch goes after him and is like, all right, I'm sorry. I overreacted. You just wanted to play with me. I get it. Okay. I'm sorry. So that's nice because, I don't think that would have happened in other iterations. I think other iterations, Grinch would have yelled at Max would have went down, and then Grinch would have just been like, whatever. He'll get over it, and then it would play the next scene, so I think we do have, I think it's nice that we do have little touches there, that just show how strong their bond really is. And then again, just more on Max. I mean, he pushes so hard, for pulling the sled all by himself. When it gets to the point where we can't use Fred anymore. I think that was his name. And you think there's no way that this small little dog is able to pull the sled, but he does. He goes into the snow, and we're like, oh no, Max. And then the thing starts moving, and then Max comes out the snow. It's he again, Max does a lot for this man, and I think that a lot of times it's hard to see it, but Grinch really does reciprocate his respect and love for Max. Even by the very end, which is one of the most touching moments in this movie, is when Grinch buys Max a new chew toy. He's like, hey, I got you this thing, and then Max opens his little door thing, and he sees the toy, and then Max looks at him all happy, and then Grinch is like, yeah, it's yours. And then Max just goes crazy with the chew toy. And we do have a nice, another nice little moment of comedy here where Grinch is already regretting buying him the toy because it's a chew toy, but it makes noise every time he chews on it. And he's like, oh man, I think I should have bought you this. That's already becoming annoying. But again, he loves Max so much that he sees how happy Max is with that toy. There's no way he's gonna get rid of it. But yeah, I mean, again, those are just a bunch of little moments, little things that I noticed in the movie where it really shows Grinch and Max's relationship their bond, their love for each other. Because you also think that they've only had each other for so long, especially looking at Grinch's side, which is a nice segue into the final topic. But it's where like he was an orphan. He didn't have anybody. He didn't have anyone close to him. No friends, no family, no nothing. So him himself has been super reliant on Max. And Max the other way around. Again, I don't really know his backstory too well. They don't get into it. But Max, you're assuming, has also only had Grinch, But like I said, that does move nice into our final topic, which is Grinch being an orphan, which again was touched on previous iterations, but I think they really dive into it this time, where it's not just like, oh, Grinch was an orphan, that's why he gets upset. Like, no, we get into it here where we see flashbacks. If you're looking on the screen right now on YouTube, you see kid version of Grinch, and it's really funny because it's like a big head. But like he was an orphan and nobody wanted him, probably because he was green, I imagine. But nobody, like, he would see other people get adopted and he's not adopted. And then Christmas would roll around and he never received any presents. He never got any presents for Christmas. So there's no reason for him to ever be happy that Christmas was around. Because as a kid, Christmas is presents. That's all you care about. You know what I mean? That's the only reason kids like it. Is because you get presents, you get stuff. Because you're a kid, you don't have any money. So he never got that joy either. He never really understood what family could be. Because again, going back to him seeing other people getting adopted, him looking around outside and seeing, families hugging each other and playing in the snow and all that stuff. Like, he didn't really know what family is. I'm sure he had thoughts about it. I'm sure he had wishes of wanting a family. I don't know why he wouldn't, but he never had one. So he never really had that nice, cozy feeling of other people caring about him, especially to that degree. And then along with that, we have a little flashback here where he goes and he looks into other people's windows and he sees the family sitting down at a huge table and eating Christmas dinner, and they're laughing and they're enjoying themselves. That's just another straw on the camel's back, right? Or he's just like, this, I don't have this. I've never had this. Like, everyone else is happy on this holiday, but I'm not, and that's where it eventually festers and it grows into his hatred. It grows into like him twisting it in his mind to everyone in Whoville turned their back on him and no one cared about him, and they all did this, which is why he can't bear Christmas. It's not even quite like he hates Christmas. I mean, he does, but that's not even the first emotion that comes to his mind is hate. It's more just like sorrow, maybe, and very like empty sorrow, where it's like it's not so much he hates it, it's that he just doesn't understand it because he never had that feeling before. He just can't understand, why does everyone like Christmas? Because everyone has had multiple Christmases where amazing things happen. You have good feelings and times and everything. He never had that. That's why that's his least favorite time of the year. But given all of this is why Cindy Lou Who is able to get through to him, because Cindy shows him something that he's never had before, where he does, even with her talking about how much she wants her mom to be happy. That's all she wants. She doesn't want any physical goods or services. She just wants her mom to be happy, and that's like, that hits the Grinch of like, why would a child just want someone else's happiness over a present, over a gift? But that also gets through to him in the way of, this is what family could be. This is what family would wish for each other. They would want each other's happiness over something physical, over a chew toy. That's how he's able to get through. And then, like, even touching on what I did before, where, Cindy inviting her to, Grinch to Christmas, that's like, wow, like, he's never been invited nowhere, and then he gets there and everyone's happy to see him. Even the one dude who I love, probably the best character in the show, who's just always happy all the time, like, hugs him and is like, hey, it doesn't count as a hug if you don't hug back. Which is so good, and then he gives his little speech at the end and he's like, hey, I hated Christmas, that's why I stole all your stuff, but I never really had a reason to like Christmas, and you all have given me that, especially this little girl over here. and everyone loves it, and it's a great ending to the movie. And yeah, that's the movie. Take it or leave it. But no, I mean, I think overall, I think this film was very good. I think it was a nice adaptation. I think some of the twists on the characters and some of the exaggerations on certain characters, like personality traits and stuff, I think Illumination did a really good job of this telling. I don't think this is one where we look at and we're like, maybe skip that one. Like, no, I think this was good. I think this was fun. Had some nice little comedy here and there. It had some heart in places that maybe the other two didn't. The other two had heart, but this one does it in different ways. I think it also does different things too, with like them searching for a reindeer, and them, the screaming goat was funny, and then all of them dispersing, and you got Fred, and even again with the comedy, of course, but then also with the feels of like, oh, they eventually run across a female reindeer and a child reindeer, and you realize that's Fred's family. And then Grinch has this heart-to-heart moment where he's like, I can't keep Fred here. Like, he has a family. He wants to go see his family. I can't do that. It's like even stuff like that was never in any other iteration. It's like, I think Illumination did a good job. I should say the people who worked for Illumination on this movie did a good job. But yeah, that is this episode of Cartoon Season, specifically of Christmas week. I don't know when this episode comes out. Don't know what day of the week, but if the week's not over, make sure to listen to the other Christmas week episodes. If it is, maybe go back and listen to the ones you didn't, because we're covering other movies. Yeah, let me know what you thought of this movie. I guess it's inevitable, but let me know what you thought of it compared to the original animated version, as well as the Jim Carrey live action version. Let me know where it ranks for you. It probably doesn't rank too high in terms of all-time Christmas cartoon movies. But let me know where it ranks in terms of like a modern animated Christmas movie, because I'm curious on that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So until next time, watch more Christmas stuff, because if this isn't the last episode, we're going to get into it even more. So yeah.